Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Ohio College Tech Prep Podcast. My name is Matt Cola, and I am the Tech Prep Coordinator at Kent State University out of the Northeast Ohio Tech Prep region. Today, I am with Chefs Tiffany Daley and Anthony Thomas from Trumbull Career and Technical Center in the Culinary Arts program. So we're going to talk a little bit about work-based learning opportunities and the experiences that their students receive in that program. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. All right, let's get started. So first off, please introduce yourselves, tell our listeners about what you do, and a little bit about your program.
I am Tiffany Daley. I am a 1999 graduate of this program, and I went on to purchasing a restaurant when I was 24 years old. I'm currently 44. It's been quite the journey, and most of what I learned to help me get started with the restaurant was here at Trumbull Career and Tech Center with the former instructors. So my E would be considered straight into employment. And I started teaching here 7 years ago, and my partner here is Anthony Thomas.
I am Anthony Thomas. I'm a 2011 completer of the Trumbull Career and Technical Center Restaurant Services Program. And when I graduated from the program, I went to Indiana University of Pennsylvania because I knew that I wanted to go into the culinary arts profession. And from there, I worked at Nemacolin Woodlands Resort and Spa in Farmington, Pennsylvania. And then I was also at Leo's Ristorante in Howland for a while, and then finished off some of my industry experience before coming to TCTC with Cura Hospitality. So I come to TCTC with various background knowledge on fine dining, casual dining, and then even the healthcare setting. And I teach the Culinary Fundamentals 1 and 2 here, and we do all of the restaurant, kitchen procedures, and food production.
And I am dining room service and operations and restaurant management. Our other chef, Amanda, is the baking and pastry instructor, and she is also a former graduate of the program and went to Le Cordon Bleu for baking and pastry arts.
She did some of her time at Ogle Bay Resort in the pastry kitchens there. Very excited to bring her in this year because the students are now getting a full academy experience by rotating to Chef Daley here with all of the customer service side of things and dining room operations, restaurant management. And then they come to me for all the culinary fundamentals with food production. And then they also rotate to Chef Bon and Segna for all of the baking and pastry. So our students are coming out of our program very well-rounded and ready for the industry, depending on what they want to do with their career.
Yes, whatever their E is, whether their E is employment, enrollment, or enlistment, they are prepared when they leave here.
Great, thank you. You've mentioned a couple times, Tiffany, just as a quick follow-up. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what these 3 E's are and explain the concept for our listeners?
Sure. The 3 E's are, what will the student do when they graduate from Trumbull Career and Tech Center? We would like them to have a plan. So will they go straight into employment? Will they be enlisted into the military? Or will they be enrolled into a college, post-secondary? And that is our goal for all of our students, is to have that plan by the time they graduate. And then when we do a post follow-up, we see where they're at. And if they're in the industry or the program that they were in, if they've continued on. So for example, I have a niece who just graduated last year from veterinary science, and her E would be employment, and she is now a groomer at one of the major pet companies.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Moving on. Work-based learning is a cornerstone of CTE, and culinary education programs do an amazing job of getting their students work-based learning opportunities. Can you share a little bit about what work-based learning looks like in your program?
Sure. So work-based learning in our program, the kids are able to get the full 250 hours within the 2 years that they are with us. Work-based learning hours have to be related to the program that you're in. So most students in high school tend to work in a fast food restaurant. So those hours also count towards their work-based learning. As long as it's industry related and it's not teacher led, those hours count.
And our students also have the advantage. Now we have a restaurant that's open to the public. And a lot of those hours when the restaurant is open to the public is counting towards their work-based learning as well.
So Chef likes to say, I do, we do, you do. And so when Chef is teaching them or I am teaching them, those hours, they're not calculated. But once the students are doing that on their own and it's the you do, then those count towards the work-based learning.
Great. Thank you. Can you tell me a little bit about the types of careers that your students go into when they graduate from TCTC and whether those careers require further education or if they're available to the students immediately after high school?
So a lot of careers that our students go into immediately right after high school are prep cook, line cook. Some work their way through and become kitchen managers, and depending on where they're working, some even get the title of sous chef as they work through those ranks. And they don't always need further education, but sometimes they need a little bit of support from the chefs and or business owners that are employing them for a little bit of additional training to show them what their policies and procedures are within their workplace. So they don't need the further education, but some of the students do need a little bit of support when it comes to the training. Even though they are well-rounded when they finish up our program through the customer service and restaurant and baking and pastry, they still need that experience from that chef and for a mentorship.
We like to tell them that just because it's done this way here does not mean it will be done that way at the job that you go to. Everyone has their own recipes, their own way, their own structure.
Absolutely. That's really exciting to hear that students can get right out into the workforce after this program. But what about if students wish to proceed with higher education before they begin their career? Are there any sorts of credits available to students who do well in this program?
Yes, we have a lot of different articulation agreements with some universities and colleges around the area. One that we are most proud of is our most recent, and that is with Westmoreland Community College in Uniontown, Pennsylvania. The students in our program can get up to 9 credits when they go to Westmoreland, and now we are excited to say that right after high school, students have the opportunity to work as a full-time apprentice at Nemacolin Woodlands Resort and Spa, which is a 5-star, 5-diamond resort in southern Pennsylvania. So that's something that we're excited to spread to our students.
We currently have a student there right now, and she is doing really well and followed up with us, and we're just really proud of that articulation agreement for sure.
And then we have some articulation agreements with the Culinary Institute of America, University of Akron. We have some with Hawking College and Youngstown State University. And we also have IUP Academy of Culinary Arts when it comes to sanitation management courses, and Pittsburgh Technical College. We have at least 4 credits with them. So we have a lot of different credit opportunities completing the program here at TCTC. They choose to go on to further education.
Great, thank you. That's basically it on the prepared questions I have. There is one question that I ask all of my guests before we wrap up. Is there anything else you want to talk about with relation to this program, or anything you're excited about this upcoming year for the Career Center or your program?
Our program was recently remodeled. It is a complete new kitchen with a new addition with an instructional lab, and we are very excited about the opportunities that it gives our students. It gives them a lot more experience here within our building than they may have experienced before in our older kitchen.
Yeah, state-of-the-art equipment. Everything is updated. Yeah, it's amazing. A lot of people walk in and they're just floored. They say it looks like it's on Food Network. Like we're pretty legit. It's great.
And I think one of the things that we're also most proud of is the program is now taught by 3 TCTC alumni. And we got hired here and we all feel like we're at home now. We all wanted to spread our knowledge to our students, and we're proud to do that within the walls that we once learned our skills in.
And to be in the academy. We don't talk about that enough, but it's definitely with it opening up to being Culinary Arts Academy, they really are getting to experience everything. And they have to go through each step in college. So we're excited that it's now the academy.
Yeah, I think we're one of the few career tech schools that have the Culinary Arts Academy where the students rotate to each different portion of our lab and learn all of those skills, because it's so essential rather than just going for baking or just going for cooking or just going into the customer service side. They've got to be well-rounded and all that. And we're so excited that we can provide that opportunity with our students and get them as prepared as can be before they go.
And we understand that some students have absolutely no desire to go into baking and pastry arts. Chef Thomas and I both want to stay as far. We will try everything, but we don't want to pursue baking and pastry. We have a student that graduated last year, Jamie. She was the front of house manager for quite some time, and she moved on to Ohio State University to go into business management because she discovered that became a passion that she didn't know that she had. So they really experience it, and then they can kind of roll out what they like or dislike moving forward. It goes back to 97, when I decided to become a student in this program. It was a stepping stone, and college was not something I'd be able to afford. So I was able to get a taste of what it was like without the expense. So.
I say all the time that the TCTC has given me the skills that I needed for my profession, and going further into culinary school, all culinary school did was polish those things and sharpen those. So TCTC really is a foundation for a lot of our backgrounds.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Before I close out, circling back to the work-based learning with the fully functional restaurant, I've eaten at your restaurant before. Give it a plug. Tell our listeners when they can come eat the delicious food there.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So we're Cafe 528, and our hours of operation vary based on, holidays and if we're testing. But Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays, 8:30 to 12 to outside guests. But we encourage that you call the building and check with the front office to make sure that we are open. We have private events that we do, as you know, and but open for business.
Yeah, come in and join us and taste some of the students' creations. We have a full menu for breakfast and lunch service, and then our menu also allows the students to come with specials that they can come up with on their own with the things that they've been learning in lab. So it's really a great experience for that.
Wow. Well, thank you both for being on the podcast. And as usual, I want to thank you, the listeners, for taking time out of your day to listen to our little podcast out of the Northeast Ohio Tech Prep region. On behalf of the entire region, I would like to wish you and your families a very happy holidays. And I really hope that you will join us again in January for our next episode. Thank you so much for listening, and if you liked the show, please leave us a rating or review.